Hi guys, can you hear me okay?
Oh, definitely.
Welcome to the sunny Glasgow Green. So just to my usual, go through a few stories that I've seen and read about. COVID-19, is it treatable? Yes. Has a 99.8% survival rate. Does lockdown make sense? No. It's a hoax and a scam. Consider one Dr. Anthony Fauci. Over 30 years as Director of the National Institute of Health in America. The HIV causes AIDS hoax is the original Fauci scam, and it's been his money maker and power base for 36 years. He's using the same rhetorical tricks he used to sell AIDS now to sell COVID. This is difficult to explain to people because the myth is so deeply rooted. But the myth is HIV causes AIDS, but HIV has never been found in a human being, only presumed antibodies to it. AIDS is 30 separate diseases with their own etiology. But if you reject that the AIDS story is a scam, consider the following. The disease is caused by a never-before-seen virus. The virus's origins are unknown, but probably from some trans-species jump. It's easily transmissible. It's deadly. Everyone's going to get it. It constantly morphs into unpredictable forms. There are secret carriers who show no symptoms and they are very dangerous. Environmental and lifestyle factors determining who gets the disease are completely ignored. There's no known treatment. Cases are presumed and deaths are attributed to it without testing. Completely different diseases are called by its name to boost the stats. So-called deniers, including Nobel Prize-winning scientists, are either ignored or attacked by other scientists and journalists. More research and testing is called for. The CDC approved treatment kills the patient. There's a desperate search for a vaccine. The so-called experts in the disease are fed endless billions of dollars, assume extra legal political power, controlling the nation's medical research agenda, and receive massive, uncritical media attention. Does all this sound familiar? This was said about AIDS, is now being said about COVID-19. Same scam, different virus, bigger disaster. Nobel Prize winner Kary Mullis invented PCR, is on record as calling the AIDS mafia led by Anthony Fauci a total scientific fraud. Fact, the HIV virus has never been found in any human being. Its existence was only presumed. HIV is not a cause of what's called AIDS. AIDS is not even a disease, it's a syndrome. AIDS is a patchwork of 30 diseases that existed before AIDS and were treatable. This was the opinion of some of the world's leading virologists and biochemists, including Mullis. These scientists were called AIDS dissidents, and their reputations were savaged. What happened was, if you took a flawed test that said you had AIDS, and if you had a certain T-cell count, you were declared an AIDS patient, even if you were 100% healthy. Thanks to the dark cloud Fauci cast over the mainstream media and Big Pharma, many who got the diagnosis assumed they were going to die, and they gave up, or they took chemotherapy treatment, like AZT, which killed them. And this is what also happens in cancer treatment. Not only was Fauci has used the Lloyd's hoax as his personal money tree, hundreds of billions, he's responsible for the death of countless people. COVID-19 is the same scam. Take a naturally occurring illness, flu, cold, in places like Wuhan, Italy, New York. Say it's due to a novel virus, give it a brand new name. Scare people out of their minds by saying it's fatal, easily transmissible, incurable. Change all diagnostic criteria to hugely multiply the number of cases recorded. Create drama about its rapid growth. Lie about the nature of the victims and their previous health problems. By the way, at least 25% of the so-called COVID-19 fatalities are nursing home patients. This is a disease that kills the already sick. Exaggerate how it's transmitted, wildly exaggerate. Suppress any therapies that work and promote ones that don't, e.g. ventilators. That's been a great cause of death, ventilation. Suppress any scientists, doctors, nurses or patients who question the science behind the scam. Get the public to clamour for a vaccine. So COVID-19 is the AIDS playbook repeated. It was done with swine flu, Ebola, Zika, H1N1, now this version. This is a message so Google have joined this racket with Big Pharma and Elite, and so they're all in it together. This is a message I received yesterday when I tried to post an article to Facebook. Error. Warning. Your message couldn't be sent because it includes content that other people on Facebook have reported as abuse.
Oh my God, really?
The post was about a child in the USA being taken from its home because one parent tested positive for COVID. The Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services, that's DCFS I'll say, to remove a child, successfully convinced a judge to remove a child from his home because his parent tested positive. The LA attorney Chris Arash said, "Today, Independency Court madness, the reason for removing the child, a non-offending parent was the reason for removing the child. The parents had made the proper arrangements for the care of their son while he had this alleged illness." Other attorneys in Los Angeles are facing the same charges. No agency has the right to do this. It's the most unnecessary and unconstitutional act taken by the authorities so far. This is the consequence of test and trace policy. It's a weapon against families to gather family details. Hospitals now dictate that fathers can't attend the birth of their children. This is pushing the agenda that children are the property of the state. This is happening in the UK too. For many years, the family court system has decided the future of any child that is deemed to be at risk. Social workers can go to the police, ask them to sign a form, and that immediately gives them power to go in and remove that child from the home, just like that. The family court meets in camera. No press, no public allowed. The judge is the sole arbiter of child's fate. This is the United Nations plan to destroy parental rights, force transgender agenda on schools, assist gender dysmorphia, easy to say, on schools, and eventually, which happened in America, castrations and mastectomies of young people, and also to completely remove the age of consent. This is the UN's agenda that's coming to place near you. Back to Facebook, they ban talk about vaccines, but they allow art showing Antifa slicing open the neck of a policeman. A photo shows a figure, I don't know if you've seen it, in all black clothing, showing the neck of a police officer on his knees. It has not been censored. When someone complained about the photo's depiction of hatred against police officers, this is the reply he received. "Thanks for letting us know about this. The photo was reviewed. Although it doesn't go against one of our scientific community standards, you did the right thing by letting us know. We understand it may still be offensive to you, so we want to help you see less of things like it in the future." The Facebook did not say what help they would give for that. Possible good news I read was, and then this needs further research possibly, I'll just say it, researchers in Ecuador claim 100 COVID-19 victims, shall we go to the trees, 119 COVID-19 patients were treated with chlorine dioxide, resulting in a 100% cure rate. As COVID isn't an acute respiratory disease and won't respond to ventilators, these will kill many critical patients. As it causes blood to be unable to carry oxygen, hypoxia can develop into asphyxiation. Intravenous chlorine dioxide delivers a high dose of oxygen to blood cells. It reportedly restores the oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin and clears clotting in the lungs. There's a video on YouTube that's in Spanish, unfortunately, where chloride dioxide researcher Andreas Kalker explains the findings, and I can give you the link if you want it. Upcoming research on new drugs and vaccines will be made possible by the National Institute of Health and the abortion industry that have just approved 70 new embryonic stem cell lines for scientific research. This research will be funded by US taxpayers. The NIH will give grants to scientists so they can use new lines of fetal tissue. After procurement at fertilisation clinics, the fetal tissue is preserved, engineered, strategically grown and studied and then destroyed in the laboratory. Human life is expendable to the NIH and the death science industry. Director Fauci is a supporter of fetal tissue research, which requires the creation and destruction of human life and procurement of fetal cell lines. Stem cells are unique because they divide into more stem cells or could become any type of cell in the body. Fetal cell lines are taken from the organs of aborted babies in the first trimester to culture and replicate viruses for the production of vaccines. This is sacrificing human life to make big pharma companies even richer. This is a threat to human rights, a terrible sacrifice of human life, and for many, blasphemy toward God. To those who are doing this, a word of scripture, Paul's letter in Galatians says, "Do not be conceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man sows, that he shall also reap." Thank you.
Cheers.
Good afternoon, folks. You can hear me? Okay, yeah. Just to carry on with a couple of themes that previous speakers mentioned. I myself am a grandson of Irish immigrants, so I know a little bit about that story, about people who attended and certainly to a large degree succeeded in building better lives for themselves. And I think to continue that theme, really, I think what worries me personally about this scamdemic issue that we now face is the fact that through a global power grab and subsequent compliance and the use of fear, that we potentially all risk losing freedoms that people have fought long and hard for. I think with me, that's where we've got to draw the line. I think everybody has to make their own choices about what they're prepared to do and not do. But coming together like this, whether it be symbolic or whether it be a formal act of resistance, is something I personally am willing to do. And it'd be great to see more and more people slowly awake to that necessity, I think. Just to pick up on, I think, from what the previous speaker said, he mentioned a guy called Carrie Mullis, who was a scientist, who actually is the father of the PCR test, not literally, of course. And I just want to say that test, Carrie Mullis himself, which is the test that has now been used to sort of ascertain as to whether people are positive for this fake virus, he said loud and clear on a number of occasions that this test should never ever be used for a diagnosis, but only to monitor the efficacy of a course of treatment. So the purpose it's being used for at the moment is corrupt and fallacious. And I just want to make the point as well that sadly so many of our sisters and brothers are enthralled through fear and compliance to corrupt powers that be. And I think we can see that on a global scale basically. Governments are working in concert with each other. The British government, the Dutch are now wearing mandatory masks on public transport. And the Irish government announced, I think on Thursday, that will be the case in ERA as well. Although there are no victims. You know, there's 1 or 2 people dying per day. Those people, as the previous speaker said, are people, generally older people, vulnerable people, people with existing comorbidities. Younger, healthier people, generally speaking, are not dying. So there's a lot to take on board. I know that we live, unfortunately, potentially frightening times, but we need to keep supporting each other. We need to educate people, those who maybe are not quite awake to the issues that abound and those who are living in fear. So we have to stay strong on both an individual and collective basis. So I wish you all well, and it's great to be down here. I'm going to keep coming down here on a regular basis from here on in. And yeah, next person up, yeah? Right, take care of yourselves. Okay. Anybody else want to sing to